Alrighty, hello and welcome back to Fantasy Premier League, the D Unit's journey. I'm FPL D Unit, and today we are looking at a wildcard draft for Game Week 18, which has been completely changed the template because of the fact that so many people have been backing in the three-man premium midfield of Saka, Palmer, and Salah. Well, Saka being ruled out for the next 5 or 6 weeks, potentially. We don't know how long really, but it's going to be a substantial period of time on the sidelines. He's going to be missing all the festive fixtures. Well, you've come to the right spot because lots of people are wildcarding in Game Week 18 and Game Week 19, and I've got two different drafts I'm going to share with you today that take advantage of the fact that the game has been thrown open at long last. We needed something to happen, like either a palm injury, a Salah injury, or a Saka injury to throw up the template of what FPL is in 2024, 2025. And it has happened right at the start of the Boxing Day fixtures for Game Week 18. So without further ado, let's have a look at what I'm talking about for wildcard draft in Game Week 18. So how important are the fixtures run? So Man City and Tottenham fixtures are improving here. It's hard to bring them in terms of them being out of form. But with Saka being out, are they now worth a punt? And look, for me, I can actually tell you right here, right now, that I've actually transferred out Saka for Phil Foden. Now, why have I done it? I've got absolutely no idea, other than the fact that Man City's fixtures the next 6 weeks, while Saka is likely to be out, look fantastic on paper. And if there's ever a time they're going to get back into form, it's now. So I'm just going all in. If it doesn't work after a couple of weeks, I can still then move Foden to anyone else. But realistically, I'm just hoping that it's just like one of them gut feels where I'm like going, oh, this is the moment. No one's talking about Man City because they're being such bad form. This could be the time they pop off. So I'm just backing it in because of that. You've also got to be aware of the Crystal Palace coming to an amazing run. Yes, they've got Bournemouth this week, but they do come in. Sorry, they don't have Bournemouth. They do have Bournemouth this week. What am I on about? They actually look like really good from here. Arsenal, Chelsea, Bournemouth, they're still a pretty good run as well. Man City, as I said, the next 6 weeks are amazing. Liverpool, Fulham, Man United. The fixture runs are ongoing from Game Week 18, so you've got to be aware of all of them. Is it time to spend up on the forward line? Cheaper forwards have literally done nothing the last few weeks. Like everyone that's done something the last couple of weeks has been at least 6.8 million rated upwards. And that's starting with Gabriel Jesus. Everyone else, all the lower rated options. Duran's been okay from Aston Villa, but you just don't know whether Watkins is going to come back in or Duran's going to drop to the bench. For me, that is too much of a risk. João Pedro has been really disappointing the last few weeks as well. Again, drafts do come down to personal preference, and we have been following the template drafts for the last few weeks. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the team value that I am using so you can see where I'm going with, and then hopefully it'll make a bit of sense why I've come up with the two drafts that I've come up with for this particular game week. So let's have a look at my team value. So as you can see here, my team value at the end of game week 17 was 106 million.2. I'm rated 18,891, so I've had a really good start to the season. And look, if I was wildcarding this week, I think I'd actually go. This sounds so stupid, but I'm going to go with the Erling Haaland draft. Now, because of the fact that, my team is not structured up for Erling Haaland and I haven't got a wild card to play because I played it in game week 12, this one's just out there because of the fact that the game is going to get thrown up and Haaland is about to be coming up against the teams, sorry, that he just dominates. So let's have a look at the first one I've come up with. So this is using all my team value. There is no money left in the bank here at all. Like I've literally spent every cent in this budget that will enable me to bring this in. So look, I've got rid of Saka, obviously in this case for Jacob Murphy, who's at 4.9 and he's an absolute steal. So in this particular draft, you are rotating between Jacob Murphy and Enzo Fernandez based on the game week. All right, so that's you're not worried about the rest. Everyone else plays in this draft every single week. It also gives you a third captaincy option with obviously Erling Haaland coming back in. Now, everyone's going to say, oh, mate, you're absolutely bonkers. And yes, I think I am bonkers. But when we look at the stats, he has scored twice since game week 9 when they played Southampton. In fact, 3 times since game week 5, which is insane. He's literally scored three times in the last 12 weeks. And I'm sitting here telling people to bring him in. What is wrong with me? But look at the teams he is about to play. This is what I'm talking about. Everton at home, Leicester away, West Ham at home, Brentford away, Ipswich away. He's already scored two hat tricks against five of these teams. Sorry, two hat tricks against two of these five teams over the next 5 weeks. There is every reason to believe if he's ever going to get out of the funk, if Man City are ever going to get out of the funk, it is now. And for me, just looking at this run of fixtures, that is why I would be so keen on going with a Haaland draft in game week 18. Now, yes, after the next 5 weeks, if he gets back into form, he could be a potential hold. But realistically, you've only really won him for the next 5 weeks. He does have an amazing end of the season, but yeah, like I just really like it as a bit of a different. Lots of people are going to be going somewhere else and not bringing him in. But if you really wanted to be differential, this is the draft I think I would go with this week. So obviously I bring in Henderson in goal. As I talked about before, the Crystal Palace defense has been pretty decent. They haven't been conceding too many goals, but they obviously conceded 5 against Arsenal. Let's forget about that one. But in generally, they haven't been conceding that many goals, and they do have a really nice run of fixtures. Bournemouth isn't the best place to bring them in, but you can obviously rotate with Fabianski, and Fabianski's got Southampton this week. So then you've got him starting in your team from the Southampton game in game week 19, which looks absolutely amazing on paper. And I think they rotate quite well, him and Fabianski, throughout most of the season. And as we can see there, Crystal Palace's fixtures, they've got such a soft run. That Chelsea game obviously in 20, but then Leicester, West Ham, Brentford, Man United, Everton, Fulham, it's all looking pretty damn good from a Crystal Palace perspective in terms of defensive output. And at 4.4, he's just such a good value asset. I mean, like I've gone full budget in the defense out. I don't really love going the double Fulham defense, but in reality, Fulham have been playing super well. They've got like the 8th best defense in the league this season. They're a good looking football team. They play good football. And realistically, they also have a very nice run of fixtures after Chelsea away this week. So obviously I'd probably bench both of them this week. But then from then on, obviously Castagna makes this lineup as well because of the fact that Tete is going to be out for the next 8 or so weeks. So he also makes it really, really good. And I think against the likes of Bournemouth, Ipswich, West Ham, Leicester, you can probably rock both the Fulham boys on the field. Obviously, I've got Mark Gay in here, and obviously there's a few differentials where you could probably go. I've got Hoyson in there from Bournemouth as well, and Hall from Newcastle. So, look, I don't like doubling up on defences, and I know that technically there's 2 Crystal Palace players in the back line, goalkeeper, defence, and 2 Fulham players, but I wouldn't be playing both of them every week. I've never liked doing that most of the season. Every time I've done it, it's failed miserably. So I think I just mix and match there. And obviously the midfield and forward line just looks so good on paper. So that's definitely where I would go. That is a draft that I'd like. That's a little bit different. Now, if you aren't into the Erling Haaland draft, I've come up with something slightly different. Again, this is actually based on what I have done this week. So this is still using my game week 12 template draft. So I've actually bought in Phil Foden this week myself for Saka. So the front 7, well, front 8 is exactly the same, except I've got Solanke in here instead of João Pedro. And I'm contemplating doing that move myself. And then obviously the rest of the team is exactly how my team is currently, but I'd bring in Castagna for Robinson and then use the extra money to upgrade Verbruggen for Alisson Becker. Now, only because of the fact that I'm sick of watching Brighton concede goals. Like Verbruggen has done nothing for me since I bought him in game week 12. He hasn't kept one clean sheet in that time. Brighton have played the easiest run of every team in between that time as well, and he's done nothing. So for me, he's just one of those players that just has to go. So like for me, that's just where I'm looking. Solanke, I don't mind. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I brought him in for a 1 week punt and I said never again. The problem is that João Pedro has been so bang average and Solanke has returned. It just hasn't returned massive numbers like 9, 5, 6, 2. Obviously, he missed that game 5, 2. Like he's been average. He's been ticking along without massively troubling the scorers. And obviously, Cunha's not really an option. And when I was looking at all the other forward options, yes, Gabriel Jesus is an option. And then maybe I keep Robinson. That's also something I'm considering this week. I just don't think the minutes are nailed there for Gabriel Jesus. So, yeah, let me know in the comments what you would do. Those are my 2 wildcard drafts for this week. Hopefully, if you are on Wildcard, you might. There are obviously plenty of options. If you're lacking in team value, you could definitely drop Foden here for a Madison, for a Kulusevski, maybe for an Eze as well. That all coming in a good round fixtures. Or if you're really struggling with team value, you can just drop him down like an Enzo Fernandez, a Ismaila Sarr, or a Jacob Murphy, depending on what you really wanted to do. So look, let me know in the comments, which draft do you prefer this week? And are you on Wildcard? And if so, is there anything else you could be going with? I know Nottingham Forest defenders are actually pretty stiff to miss out here. They have really good underlying defensive data as well. However, I just couldn't bring myself to bring in one of them, considering the rest. They just have such attacking upside, most of these players in this team. So that's generally the way I've gone with defenders this season. There's a reason why I haven't gone with Trent. Like, love of people talk about the expensive assets in defense. I did actually consider dropping, bringing in Phil Foden and then upgrading Colwill to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I've now been priced out of that because he's now gone to 7.1. I just can't justify spending 7 million on a defender this year. Having started the season with Trent, and since moving him on, I just felt like my team's gone so much better. So yeah, again, let me know in the comments. Make sure you drop us a like. Make sure you drop us a subscribe if you're new as well. And I will see you later. And today, I'm actually doing a double upload again today, and I'll be doing transfer tips. Hopefully they'll be coming out sometime this afternoon. Tomorrow on Christmas Day, we'll have my team selection, and then on Boxing Day, we will be live with a deadline day stream, so make sure you join us for that. I'm not sure if we'll start it at 9:30 or 9 o'clock. Just depends on the day and how we wake up feeling post Christmas. All right, if I don't see you before then, have a great Christmas, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for watching. That's been the D Unit.